But Kamala Harris would be just the opposite. Why? Because she's an inspiration. Not only is she positive, and does she bring hope and optimism, but as a black woman, the product of a mixed marriage, she will inspire millions of people throughout the world. Our credibility as a nation, that we would be able to allow, our country is so great that we're allowed a woman like that to become the commander-in-chief, the president of the United States. That is going to send a powerful message all over the world. People like Vladimir Putin are going to say, hey, wait a minute. These guys, they truly have a democratic country. They truly are representative. They truly are fighting for all their people. And Kamala Harris is a manifestation of that.
This is my video update on this Friday, midday, September the 20th. Let's talk about some news. And on MSNBC, they had a military official, a senior military official, don't know the guy's name, but he told MSNBC that Kamala Harris's diversity would put fear into Putin, into all of America's enemies. Her diversity is the key to U.S. foreign policy. It's the key to U.S. hegemony, and it will ultimately lead to a defeat of Putin. I don't think he used the words defeat, did he? But he basically said that Putin would see Kamala's diversity, and he would understand that the United States is a real democracy. This is a real powerful democracy, and that would force Putin to, to capitulate or to see the light. Maybe it will force Putin to see the light and understand that because Kamala is president, the U.S. cannot be defeated. I don't know what he was talking about, man. Oh boy. We started things off with a Clown World video, everybody. But look, I think Putin already understands Kamala's power, her diversity and her power, because he endorsed Harris for the 2024 election. So I think Putin understands the power of Kamala Harris and the power of her diversity. That's why he endorsed her. Oh boy, so let's go to Dr. Jill Stein. And she posted on Twitter, I don't know why she put out this post or why her campaign decided to post this, but they did it. They put on Twitter X this post: "We condemn all war criminals, including Netanyahu, Putin, Assad, Biden, Harris, Trump, Obama, Hillary Clinton, Bush, Dick Cheney, and many more. We also recognize the urgent need for diplomacy to prevent World War III." And attached to this post is a lengthy statement. Let me read you one paragraph from this statement, which is connected to Putin, the war criminal, and Assad, the war criminal, according to Dr. Jill Stein. After a recent interview which did not provide the opportunity for nuanced and serious discussion of important and controversial topics, we want to take this opportunity to clarify our stance on key issues, particularly any misunderstanding regarding our comments about Vladimir Putin and Bashar al-Assad. Our campaign condemns both Putin and Assad as war criminals responsible for immense suffering and devastation. Putin's military intervention in Syria, supporting Assad's brutal suppression of the Syrian people's uprising, is a stark example of his disregard for human rights. What a dumb statement for the Jill Stein campaign to make. What a dumb, misinformed statement for them to put out there. And just like that, Dr. Jill Stein has exposed herself as someone who could never, not that she ever had the chance, but she has revealed herself to be someone who can never be president of the United States because she has no understanding of what happened in Syria. She has no understanding of diplomacy, and she has revealed, unfortunately, she has revealed that she is very susceptible to neocon collective West propaganda and misinformation. She can be easily propagandized and easily led to believe the collective West narratives on Russia and on Syria, and she lacks understanding of important geopolitical events. In this case, what happened in Syria and why Russia intervened in Syria. I'm not going to get into the details of why Russia intervened in Syria, but it's not what Jill Stein is saying in her statement. Remember, ISIS was 12 kilometers away from taking over Damascus when Russia intervened. Can you imagine what that would mean for Syria, for the Middle East, for Russia? Look at a map and see how close Russia is to Syria. See how close the Caucasus are to Syria. Can you imagine what that would mean for the region, for the world, if ISIS had actually captured Damascus? Very, very dumb statement for Jill Stein to put out there. And on a final note, if you're going to be president of the United States, you can't go calling Putin a war criminal. You just can't do it. Even if you believe it, even if you buy into the neocon propaganda, which obviously the Jill Stein campaign buys into, even if you buy into it, you can't call leaders of powerful countries, of major, powerful, big countries, you can't call them war criminals. You really shouldn't be calling a leader of any country a war criminal, to be honest, or a dictator, if you're the president of the United States. Even if you believe it, even if it's true, because, it's diplomacy. You never know when you're going to need to talk to these world leaders. So why close these doors by making dumb comments like that about world leaders, especially the leader of Russia? So she has just exposed herself as being incapable of being president of the United States because she lacks diplomatic skill, or at least her campaign lacks diplomatic skill, and they also don't understand the recent geopolitical events that have brought us to where we are today with Project Ukraine. And if she doesn't understand what happened in Syria, she's not going to understand what's going on in Ukraine, and she's not going to understand what might possibly happen in Iran or what might possibly happen in China and Taiwan. And this was an unfortunate statement from Jill Stein. Very, very unfortunate statement for her to put out there. To lump in Putin with Clinton and Cheney. Ugh. Anyway, let's move on and let's talk about von der Leyen. Von der Leyen, she is in Kiev, her 8th trip to Kiev to meet with Zelensky. Let me read you what Von der Pirate posted on Twitter X. My 8th visit to Kiev comes as the heating season starts soon and Russia keeps targeting energy infrastructure. We will help Ukraine in its brave efforts. I come here to discuss Europe's support, from winter preparedness to defense to accession and progress on the G7 loans. Ah, yes, the G7 loans. The 50 billion loan from the EU and the US, which is having trouble getting green lit, and the Plan B loan of 20 billion to 40 billion that the EU might have to dish out to Project Ukraine if the 50 billion doesn't get approved. Those loans. Those loans which I just have a feeling are not meant to go to Ukraine or the people of Ukraine or to helping Ukraine, but these are going to be loans which I think are just going to be used to plug up the holes created by the European Union and the collective West dipping into the 250, 300 billion dollars in Russian frozen assets sitting in Euroclear in Brussels. That's what I think is going on. They need to plug up some holes. They need to square up some of the books, and I think this loan is about doing all of that before Project Ukraine completely collapses. And before Russia starts asking about the 250 billion, once Project Ukraine collapses, Russia starts asking about the 250, 300 billion in frozen assets, and Euroclear may have to actually give an accounting, an audit of what's going on there, and who knows? We may find out that some of the money, some of the capital, has been dipped into. Who knows? That's just a hunch. I don't know, but look, Ursula, her main reason to go to Kiev is not about helping Ukraine out or anything like that. It's about the energy situation. I've been saying this for a while now. The big concern of the European Union is that Russia this winter is going to take out the energy infrastructure of Ukraine. A couple of Iskander strikes and it'll be kaput for Ukraine's energy system, its infrastructure, and that could lead to a huge migrant crisis into the European Union, because if there's no heat, there's no electricity, what do the people of Ukraine do? They're going to try to make their way to the European Union. I would imagine that a lot of Ukrainians may actually try to make their way into Russia as well. I don't know, that's just a guess. But a lot of Ukrainians are going to try to get into the European Union, and that could be a huge crisis for Ursula. So she's going to Ukraine because she's panicking. She does not want to see a huge migrant crisis during her watch. That would be very bad for Ursula. She's going there to look after herself. Essentially, she's going there for selfish reasons. And she's going to tell Zelensky, what do we do? What are we going to do here? If Russia collapses the energy infrastructure, I'm going to have a problem as European Commissioner. Ursula put herself in this mess. She's 100% to blame for what could possibly happen this winter in Ukraine, and she's scrambling now to figure out a way so that this can somehow be prevented, or she is not to blame for a migrant crisis that could cripple the European Union, which is already in a very bad state. The EU economy is already in tatters, in absolute tatters, thanks to Ursula's bonehead management of the European Union. So she's in Kiev, and the EU Parliament, they have no reverse gear. They still have not understood that they have no leverage on Russia, that they have completely lost this conflict. They are the big losers. When it comes to the collective West, the big losers in Project Ukraine is the European Union, specifically Germany, but all of the EU has come out as the big losers in Project Ukraine, and instead of them pulling out of Project Ukraine, capitulating, saying we surrender, telling Russia you beat us, now please don't put the hammer down on us. They are doubling and tripling down, and the European Parliament, in all of their arrogance and ignorance, they are demanding that Biden lift restrictions on the use of weapons to hit Russian territory. The time for action is now at POTUS. This is what the European Parliament is saying. Because the use of long-range missile strikes into Russia, that's going to help the European Union. That's how you're going to guarantee launching long-range missiles into Russia is how the EU is going to absolutely 100% guarantee that Russia does take out Ukraine's energy infrastructure and guarantee that the European Union is going to have a huge Ukraine migrant crisis this winter. But the EU Parliament, they just don't understand these things, do they? Very simple concepts, but not for Parliament members of the European Union. Anyway, we have the Washington Post. They put out an article with the title, "The Losing Strategy of Underestimating Russia. Russia remains a formidable power. The West should not assume it is a depleted military force." Those Russian shovels. Those Russian shovels really did a number on the collective West, didn't they? I thought the ruble was rubble. Wasn't that what Biden was telling us during his State of the Union? The ruble is rubble. And didn't Ursula say tatters? The Russian economy is in tatters. They are using washing machine chips to power up their tanks and their fighter jets. They are in tatters. I'm telling you, tatters. Man, now they're starting to put out there some truth, trickle truth, little itsy bitsy trickles of truth, droplets of truth is what they're starting to put out there. The Washington Post and the collective West mainstream media. Maybe we shouldn't underestimate Russia. Did we say that Russia was a gas station masquerading as a country? No. We never said that. We never ever said that. Did we say shovels? No. We didn't say shovels. Running out of weapons? We said that Russia's running out of weapons? Did we talk about our wonder weapons destroying the Russian military? That wasn't us. No, we've been reporting the Ukraine conflict as the Washington Post. We've been reporting it truthfully since the beginning, right? We've always been saying don't underestimate Russia, that Russia's powerful. Russia's a strong military. Russia's economy is not going to be affected by 16,000 sanctions because the Putin administration, they have been preparing for this type of war from the collective West since 2014. We've been reporting that on the Washington Post. So the Washington Post, in the article, they do say that, because they have to say this, they have to put this out there, they say that Russia has been devastated by this conflict. It's been really bad for Russia. The conflict has not worked out well for Russia, but the collective West has underestimated Russia. And they've underestimated Russia's power, and they've underestimated the fact that Russia is a big country with a lot of resources and a lot of people and a lot of energy and commodities and military technology, and most likely Ukraine's not going to win this thing. Yeah. Yep. Losing strategy, underestimating Russia. It has been a losing strategy, eh, Washington Post? And Putin, he said yesterday that 140,000 drones were delivered to the Russian military in 2023, and I believe in 2024, Putin said, either 2024 or 2025, Putin said that the Russian military is going to get 10 times more drones than what they got in 2023. Millions of drones are being produced in Russia, all kinds of drones with all kinds of tech. and they're going to be delivered to the Russian military. The military that's in tatters. The military that is in tatters. The military that is down to its last missile. Its last missile. Its last drone. That's what the Washington Post was telling us all these years. And now Putin is saying millions and millions of drones are being produced because the Russian economy, the Russian military industrial complex has been able to outproduce the entirety of the collective West, the US plus the EU, when it comes to artillery shells, when it comes to drones, when it comes to missiles. They have managed to outproduce the entirety of the collective West. Wow. That's something. That is something there, huh? Underestimated Russia. You guys bought into your own propaganda. You bought into John McCain's gas station masquerading as a country narrative. Boy, did you guys buy into it. What else? Let's do an update on the pager story. Let's shift gears and talk about the Lebanon pager news, because we got some more information as to what happened, what was going on with the pagers to Hezbollah. And we are now being told that the company in Hungary, BAC, which was nothing more than a one-person shell company and had a licensing deal with Gold Apollo in Taiwan, was actually just a front for a Bulgarian company with a Norwegian CEO, and they're the company that actually delivered the pagers to Hezbollah. Reuters is reporting hunt for origins of Lebanon pager attack widens to Bulgaria and Norway. And then there is this report from a Bulgarian newspaper, which claims that a Bulgarian company from Sofia called Norta Global Ltd sent the pagers that exploded to Hezbollah. The Hungarian company, BAC Consulting, only served as a front company, and the deal itself was carried out through Bulgaria. So no surprise as to what is going on here. A shell company acting as a front to another shell company, probably acting as a front to another company, and that's what's going on here. No surprise. But this traces back, according to Reuters and according to reports from Bulgaria, this traces back to Bulgaria and to a Norwegian CEO who goes by the name of Rosin Jose. Rinsen Jose of Norta Global Ltd. Rinsen Jose, who, from what I understand, was living in Oslo. Now he has disappeared. He was contacted by Reuters for the article that I just mentioned. And from what Reuters is saying, he had no comment, then hung up the phone. Then the reports were that this Norwegian CEO got on a plane to travel to the United States. The website for Norta Global has been completely scrubbed, and the CEO has gone poof, poof, like Kaiser Sose, poof, disappeared. Those are the latest reports. He has gone missing. He is now a ghost. Did I not say that this pager incident reminds me of Nord Stream? Remember what Seymour Hersh was reporting, that Norway was one of the countries involved in the Nord Stream sabotage? That's what Seymour Hersh reported, and here we are again with Norway allegedly involved in this pager blast. So ABC, they ran an article with the title, ABC News, with the title, Israel had a hand in manufacturing pagers that exploded in Lebanon, according to a source. And according to ABC News, the entire operation spanned 15 years. 15 years. They were producing pagers, according to ABC News, and eventually they got the order from Hezbollah, and that's when they put the explosives in the 5,000 pagers. This is what ABC News is reporting. Israel had a hand in the manufacturing of pagers that exploded on Hezbollah operatives this week, with this type of supply chain interdiction operation having been planned for at least 15 years, a U.S. intelligence source confirmed to ABC News. The CIA has long been reluctant to employ this tactic because the risk to innocents was too high, the source said. Planning for the attack involved shell companies with multiple layers of Israeli intelligence officers and their assets fronting a legitimate company that produced the pagers, the source confirmed to ABC News, with at least some of those doing the work unaware of who they were actually working for. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. And ABC News says that Israel's hand in manufacturing was first reported by the New York Times. 1 to 2 ounces of explosives and a remote trigger switch to set off the blast were planted in the pagers, according to the sources. This is what they're claiming. 15 years this company was creating pagers. Multiple levels of Israeli intel infiltration, most likely in Hezbollah, in Lebanon, at all points of the supply chain, I would imagine, with some people involved in this entire process not even knowing who they were working for. And Lebanon, they announced that there will be no pagers and no walkie-talkies allowed on planes that are flying into Lebanon, into Beirut. Here we go. As I was saying, no pagers, no walkie-talkies on planes. What's next? What is next? What happens if mobile phones start to blow up? How are planes going to deal with that? No mobile phones on flights? How do you do that? And we're talking no pagers and no walkie-talkies, even in your checked-in luggage. That is what Lebanon is reporting. So Nasrallah, the chief of Hezbollah, he came out with a statement yesterday, and I don't think he said anything unexpected, to be quite honest. He said that the communication systems of Hezbollah are still operating, and yes, this was a big blow to Hezbollah. He did say that Hezbollah had been duped, tricked, and this was embarrassing for Hezbollah. He, at least in a statement, he made it out to be as if yes, Hezbollah has been embarrassed by this, but he also said that women and children and civilians had been hurt by this attack. He called it an act of terrorism. But he also said that Israel definitely has a high-tech advantage. I'm trying to remember what he said. He said that Israel has an advantage when it comes to high-tech. Hezbollah understands this, but communication in Hezbollah, he claims, has not been degraded from this pager incident. So that was Nasrallah. And we can now move on to the final story before Clown World. Yeah, this will be the final story before Clown World. And it has to do with Georgia, the country, Georgia, and the European Union. They are now saying that they will end Georgia EU visa-free travel because Georgia is backsliding on democracy, on its democratic path. Georgia is backsliding with their foreign agents law and stuff like that, and the threat from the European Union is that they will revoke the visa-free travel of Georgians into the European Union, which they put in place, I believe, in 2017. Obviously, this is election meddling because there's going to be an election in Georgia, I believe, in October. There's going to be a parliament election either in October or November. So the EU is absolutely meddling in Georgia's election. They are trying to get, especially the young voters, the youth, the students, to vote against Georgia Dream. And they're trying to get the youth, the students, out on to the streets, because if there's one demographic that is still enamored with the EU and traveling to the EU, and they still believe that Europe is a place of opportunity, it's not, but they still believe it. It is the students, it is the young, and they're hoping that they can get some protests going before the elections, during the elections, which could lead to the defeat of Georgia Dream, or the toppling of Georgia Dream. Let's do some clown worlds. And the first clown world, I'm not going to get into this story into too much detail, but it is big news, so I do want to mention it. And it has to do with Diddy, with P. Diddy and his arrest. And we are getting reports that he has been put on a suicide watch, like Epstein. So he's in prison, from what I understand, and they're very worried that he might try to self-delete. So I just want to put that out there so everyone can be aware of what could be happening to Diddy, because his story seems to be very closely aligned to everything that happened with Epstein, but we'll see. And we have the news of Kadyrov and his Cybertruck. Is an interesting clown world. Kadyrov was gifted a Cybertruck by Musk, from what I understand, and the Cybertruck, he actually took the Cybertruck to the front lines, and he said the Cybertruck performed super well on the front lines in the conflict in Ukraine, and he loved his Cybertruck. But now Kadyrov is reporting that Musk, this is what Kadyrov is saying, that Musk has deactivated his Tesla Cybertruck. He has deactivated it. That is what Kadyrov is saying. I don't know if this is true or not. Probably. Why not? But Tesla and Musk, they absolutely have the power to deactivate a vehicle and make the vehicle useless. The vehicle had to be towed off after being deactivated, according to Kadyrov, who called the switching off an unmanly act. Why, Elon? What a thing to do, Kadyrov wrote. Why, Elon? Why have you deactivated my Cybertruck? Don't buy an electric vehicle which can be deactivated from a distance from Tesla HQ. They can deactivate your vehicle. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good at all. Oh, man. Petrol, gasoline. Those are the cars to buy. Cars that aren't computers. Buy a car that's a car first and a computer second, not a car that's a computer first and a car second. Because the computer can be deactivated. Yes, it can be deactivated. And in the future, when when Klaus Schwab starts to push the whole the whole narrative, the 2030 agenda, whatever, where it's you can only travel certain distances, and if you travel beyond those allocated distances, then your EV, your electric vehicle, gets shut off, shut down. Yeah, man. Who wants that? Who wants to live in a world like that? Man. Anyway, that's the clown world from Kadyrov. And I think I got one more clown world. Do I have one more? Yes, Estonia signals readiness to preemptively strike Russia to defend NATO. Yeah, okay, Estonia. I'm not even going to comment on that. That title alone is good enough for the clown world. And one more. The judo Olympian, I believe from Serbia, right? He was banned. He was banned because he made his cross. He crossed himself during the Olympics, and the Olympic Committee they banned him for 5 months for crossing himself. More proof that that the Olympics is done. The Olympics has to go. We need something new. The Olympics is compromised, man. Anyway, that's the final clown world. That's the video. The Duran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, ODYSEE, BitChute, Telegram, Rockfin, and Twitter X. Go to the Duran shop. Pick up some merch like the USA shirt that I am wearing today. Awesome shirt. You got the flag. You got the Duran logo. You got the USA in the front. We also have shirts with the flag patch on the sleeve. Got all kinds of countries, so you can pick your country, choose your country, pick up your shirts. Fantastic quality. I think these are our best shirts. I love these shirts. Anyway, that is the video, everybody. I will put a link to the Duran shop down below in the description box. Take care.